I walked into the kitchen that afternoon, the house empty except for the hum of the fridge, and there she was, Brooke, my sister Alina's girlfriend, leaning against the counter with a look in her eyes that sent a chill down my spine. Before I could even say hello, she stepped forward, her hand brushing my arm, and pressed her lips against mine in a kiss that tasted like betrayal and forbidden fire. My world tilted in that instant, the sister I adored suddenly a ghost between us, and I pulled away, heart pounding, knowing nothing would ever be the same. The shock lingered like a bad dream I couldn't shake. I stood there, frozen, staring at Brooke as she wiped her mouth with the back of her hand, her expression a mix of defiance and regret. "Allison, I couldn't hold it in anymore," she whispered, her voice cracking just enough to make me question if this was real or some twisted prank. But it wasn't. Brooke had been dating Alina for 2 years, the perfect couple in our family's eyes. Well, as perfect as a same-sex relationship could be in our conservative Midwest suburb. Alina, my older sister by 4 years, had come out in college, and while Mom and Dad tolerated it with tight smiles and awkward silences, they never fully embraced it. And now this. Me, the straight-laced younger sister, caught in the crossfire of whatever storm was brewing inside Brooke. I backed away, my mind racing through 1,000 what-ifs. What if Alina walked in right now? She was at work, pulling another double shift at the hospital as a nurse, always the responsible one, the one who held our fractured family together after Dad's layoff last year. Brooke followed my retreat, her eyes pleading. "Please don't tell her. It's you I've been thinking about, not her. The way you laugh, the way you look at me when you think no one's watching." Her words hit like punches, stirring something unfamiliar in my chest, a confusion that twisted my gut. I'd always admired Brooke. She was bold, unapologetic, everything I wasn't. But this was crossing lines that shouldn't exist. My thoughts spiraled inward. How had I not seen this coming? The lingering glances at family dinners, the extra hugs that lasted a second too long. I'd chalked it up to her being affectionate, part of what made her fit so well with Alina's outgoing personality. Alina, with her warm smiles and endless energy, had brought Brooke home one Thanksgiving, declaring her the love of her life. I'd been happy for them, truly. But now, standing in our childhood home, the walls seemed to close in, echoing judgments I'd heard whispered in church and at school. Being gay was one thing, my sister's thing, but involving me? That felt like a moral earthquake, shaking the foundations of who I thought I was. I grabbed my keys from the counter, needing air, space, anything to escape the intensity in Brooke's gaze. "This never happened," I muttered, but even as I said it, I knew it was a lie. The kiss burned on my lips, a secret that would fester. As I stormed out to my car, parked in the driveway of our modest 2-story house in suburban Chicago, I wondered if I was running from her or from the part of myself that hadn't hated it as much as I should have. The drive to the coffee shop where I worked part-time blurred in a haze of confusion. Why me? What did this mean for Alina, who deserved better than this betrayal? And what kind of sister was I if I didn't tell her immediately? By the time I arrived at work, my phone buzzed with a text from Brooke. "We need to talk. Please." I deleted it, but the words lingered. That evening when Alina came home, exhausted but beaming as always, she hugged me tightly. "Hey sis, how was your day?" I forced a smile, the guilt gnawing at me like acid. Dinner was a tense affair. Mom chattering about neighborhood gossip, Dad grunting responses from behind his newspaper. Brooke joined us, acting as if nothing had happened, her foot accidentally brushing mine under the table. I jerked away, my heart hammering. Alina noticed my distraction. "You okay, Allie? You seem off." I nodded, lying through my teeth. "Just tired." That night, alone in my room, the inner turmoil kept me awake. Was Brooke's kiss a mistake, or a revelation? I'd dated guys in high school, safe, predictable relationships that never sparked real passion. But this feeling, electric, dangerous, it challenged everything. Society's voice echoed in my head. Families like ours didn't deal with this. Mom's subtle digs about traditional values, Dad's discomfort at pride parades on TV. If I pursued this, whatever this was, I'd be tearing our family apart. Yet denying it felt like suffocating. The decision loomed. Tell Alina and watch the fallout, or keep silent and let the secret poison us all. As dawn broke, I realized the price of truth might be losing the only family I had. The next morning, Brooke cornered me in the hallway while Alina was in the shower. I meant it, Allison. I'm ending things with her for you. Her words were a dagger. Panic surged. No, you can't. She loves you. But deep down, a selfish part whispered, what if? The moral quandary twisted me. Loyalty to my sister versus this unexpected pull. Society judged us harshly enough for Alina's choices. Adding my confusion would amplify the shame. I pushed her away. Leave me alone. But as she walked off, defeat in her shoulders, I knew this was just the beginning of the storm. Days blurred into a tense routine. I avoided Brooke, but her presence in our home was unavoidable. Alina sensed the shift, her questions growing pointed. What's going on between you two? I'd shrug, the lie heavy. Inside, the conflict raged. Was I attracted to women? To Brooke specifically? The societal pressure mounted. Friends at college teasing about phases. Family expectations of normalcy. One evening, after a family argument about Dad's job hunt, Alina confided in me. Brooke's been distant. Do you think she's cheating? The irony burned. I wanted to confess, but the fear of her pain stopped me. Instead, I hugged her, whispering, it'll be okay. But would it? The betrayal I harbored made me complicit, the damage already done. The weight of the secret pressed down harder with each passing day, turning our home into a minefield of unspoken tensions. Alina confronted Brooke that night after dinner, her voice rising in the living room while I eavesdropped from the stairs. You've been pulling away, Brooke. If there's someone else, just say it. Brooke's response was measured, too calm. It's not that simple, Alina. I love you, but things change. My stomach churned. I was the change, the unintended catalyst in their unraveling. Alina's hurt echoed in my mind long after they retreated to her room, the door slamming like a judgment. I couldn't escape the inner monologue that haunted my quiet moments. Why hadn't I pushed Brooke away sooner? Was there a part of me that welcomed the chaos, craving something beyond the predictable path laid out for me? College, job, marriage to a nice guy? Society's script felt suffocating now, especially in our tight-knit community where church picnics and block parties reinforced family values. Mom's friends whispered about Alina's lifestyle, their pitying looks a constant reminder of the stigma. If I admitted any attraction, I'd be doubling the family's burden, inviting more judgment, more isolation. The next afternoon, while Alina was at the hospital, Brooke showed up at my coffee shop job, her eyes red-rimmed from lack of sleep. We have to talk, Allison. I broke up with her last night. The words hit like a freight train. Customers milled around, oblivious to the drama unfolding at the counter. I dragged her to the back alley, anger boiling over. How could you? She's devastated. Brooke grabbed my hand, her touch sending unwelcome sparks. Because I feel more for you in a glance than I ever did with her. It's real, Allison. Tell me you don't feel it too. I yanked away, but the denial stuck in my throat. Deep down, the kiss had awakened questions I'd buried, about my identity, my desires. But pursuing them meant betraying Alina, the sister who'd protected me from bullies, helped with homework, been my rock. That evening, Alina was a wreck, curled on the couch with tissues scattered like confetti of sorrow. Mom hovered, offering tea and platitudes. These things happen, honey. Maybe it's for the best. Her tone implied relief, one less issue to explain to relatives. Dad patted Alina's shoulder awkwardly, muttering, "You'll find someone, right?" Their discomfort amplified the family's fractures. I sat beside Alina, guilt twisting like a knife. What happened? I asked, feigning ignorance. She sobbed. She said her feelings changed. No explanation. The lie I enabled burned. Inside I debated. Confess now or let her heal in ignorance. The moral tightrope wobbled. Truth could free me but shatter her. Days later, at a family dinner, the tension exploded. Alina snapped at Mom's innocent question about dating again. Why does it matter? You never fully accepted Brooke anyway. Mom recoiled. We tried, Alina. It's not easy for us. Dad interjected. This lifestyle brings complications. Look at the pain it's causing. Their words stung, exposing the deep-seated bias. I stayed silent, my own confusion mirroring the family's divide. That night, Alina knocked on my door. "Allie, can we talk? I feel like you're hiding something." My heart raced. "No, nothing." But her eyes searched mine, suspicion dawning. The pressure built, societal echoes loud in my head. At college, friends joked about experimenting. But for me it wasn't a phase. It was a potential truth that could alienate everyone. Brooke texted relentlessly. "Meet me. We deserve a chance." I ignored her, but the pull grew. One rainy evening, I met her at a park bench, the decision a reckless one. "Why me?" I demanded. She sighed. "Because you're kind, thoughtful, unlike Alina's intensity. I fell out of love with her, into something with you." Her confession tempted, but the cost loomed. Alina's trust, family harmony. I left without answering, the rain masking my tears. Back home, Alina waited, arms crossed. "Where were you?" I lied again, studying. But she pressed. "With Brooke? I saw her car earlier." Panic surged. No, the confrontation escalated. Voices rising. "You're lying, Allie. What's going on?" The dam broke partially. She kissed me weeks ago." Alina's face crumpled. "And you didn't tell me?" The betrayal in her eyes was worse than any punch. She stormed out, leaving me alone with the wreckage. The aftermath was silent warfare. Alina avoided me, her pain palpable. Mom sensed the rift, prying gently. "Girls, whatever it is, fix it." But how? My inner conflict raged. Was loving Brooke wrong, or was hiding it the sin? Society's judgment weighed heavy, labels like homewrecker, confused. Dad's discomfort grew, muttering about too much drama. I realized the price of my silence. Eroded bonds, self-doubt. Yet admitting more could destroy us entirely. A week later, Brooke appeared at our door, begging Alina to talk. The scene turned ugly. "Get out!" Alina shouted. Brooke glanced at me, her eyes pleading. "Tell her, Allison." The moment of truth arrived, forcing a choice. I hesitated, the moral quandary peaking. Loyalty or honesty? "Alina, I think I feel something too." The admission hung like a noose. Alina's slap echoed, her tears flowing. "How could you?" She fled upstairs, slamming the door. The family imploded. Mom demanded explanations. Dad retreated to his den. Inside, I questioned everything. Was this love or infatuation? The societal backlash loomed, friends distancing, whispers at work. But the deepest wound was Alina's pain, the sisterly bond fractured by my indecision. The fracture in our family widened like a chasm after my confession, swallowing any remnants of normalcy. Alina locked herself in her room for days, emerging only for work, her eyes hollow with betrayal. Mom cornered me in the kitchen one morning, her voice a whisper of desperation. "Allison, what have you done? Your sister's heartbroken." I stared at the floor, the weight of her disapproval crushing. "It wasn't planned, Mom. It just happened." But her sigh spoke volumes, the unspoken fear that both daughters were that way, challenging her worldview shaped by church sermons and small-town norms. My mind churned with relentless self-interrogation. Was I truly attracted to Brooke, or was this a rebellion against the cookie-cutter life expected of me? Society's mirror reflected distortion. Media portraying queer relationships as trendy or tragic, rarely real. In our Chicago suburb, acceptance was superficial, pride flags in windows but judgment behind closed doors. Dad's silence was loudest, his avoidance a clear signal of discomfort. "I don't understand," he finally grunted over breakfast. "We raised you girls right." The implication stung. This was a failure, a deviation from the straight path. Brooke persisted, meeting me secretly at a diner downtown. "We can make this work, Allison. Leave the drama behind." Her hand on mine felt comforting yet treacherous. "But at what cost?" I whispered. "Alina hates me now." Brooke's eyes hardened. "She'll get over it. Love isn't fair." Her words tempted, but the ethical dilemma gnawed. Pursuing happiness meant inflicting pain. A zero-sum game in our tangled web. I left the diner conflicted, the rain-soaked streets mirroring my turmoil. Alina's confrontation came unexpectedly at work. She stormed into the coffee shop during my shift, customers staring. "How long, Allie? How long have you been sneaking around?" Her voice cracked, drawing sympathetic glances. I pulled her aside. It was just the kiss at first. I didn't know what to do. Tears welled in her eyes. You chose her over me. Your own sister. The accusation pierced, highlighting the sacrifice, our bond for an uncertain romance. I didn't choose, I pleaded. It happened. But she shook her head. That's a cop-out. Own your decisions. The fallout rippled outward. Friends from college distanced themselves, whispers of sister-stealer circulating. One texted, "That's messed up, Allie." The social isolation amplified my doubts. Was this worth it? Inside, the battle raged. Suppress feelings to preserve family, or embrace them and face exile. Mom arranged a family meeting, her attempt at mediation. We sat in the living room, tension thick. Dad cleared his throat. This isn't normal. We need to fix it. Alina scoffed. Fix what? Their betrayal? Brooke wasn't invited, but her shadow loomed. I spoke up, voice trembling. I'm sorry, Alina. I never wanted to hurt you. But apologies felt hollow. Mom interjected. Maybe counseling. The church offers programs. Her suggestion reeked of conversion. The societal pressure to normalize us evident. Dad nodded. Good idea. Alina exploded. You think this is a phase? Something to pray away? The argument escalated. Old wounds reopening. Alina's coming out. The family's reluctant acceptance. My role in the chaos made me the villain. The price of my awakening steep. Alone that night, I called Brooke. We can't do this. It's destroying everyone. She begged. Don't give up on us. The temptation warred with guilt. Hanging up, I realized the moral crossroads. Selfishness or sacrifice. Society judged harshly, but family bonds demanded loyalty. The next day, Alina packed a bag. I'm staying with a friend. I can't be here. Her departure gutted me. Mom cried. Dad stared blankly. See what you've caused? Mom said. The blame settled heavy. In the quiet house, my thoughts darkened. Was coming out, if that's what this was, worth the wreckage? The internal conflict peaked. Deny myself to heal the family, or pursue truth and lose them? Brooke showed up unannounced, determination in her stance. Let's leave together. Start fresh. The offer dangled like forbidden fruit. And abandon Alina? I countered. She's strong. She'll move on. But I knew better. The decision loomed, each path laced with loss. Weeks passed in strained silence. Alina returned sporadically, interactions curt. At a family therapy session Mom insisted on, truths spilled. I felt invisible in our relationship, Alina admitted to the counselor. And now betrayed by both. Brooke wasn't there, but I defended weakly. It wasn't intentional. The therapist probed. Allison, what do you want? The question exposed my indecision. Society's voice intruded. Conform or be outcast. A turning point came when Dad cornered me. This lifestyle. It's hard. But if it's you, we'll try. His awkward support surprised, cracking the facade. Yet, Alina's resentment lingered. Trying isn't enough, she said later. The mending was fragile, each step a negotiation. Brooke pressed for a commitment. Meeting her at the park, I faced the ultimatum. Us or them. Her words forced clarity. I can't choose you over family. The rejection hurt us both. She walked away, tears streaming. The price paid. A potential love lost, but family preserved, barely. Alina and I talked that night raw and honest. Why her, she asked. I don't know. Confusion, maybe. Her forgiveness was tentative. Don't make me regret trusting you again. The healing began, but scars remained. The fragile truce in our family held like thin ice, cracking under the slightest pressure as weeks turned into months. Alina and I navigated awkward conversations, her trust rebuilding brick by painful brick. But Brooke didn't fade quietly. She called, texted, even showed up at my work once more, her desperation a mirror to my lingering doubts. I can't let you go, Allison. We were meant to be. Her words stirred the embers I'd tried to extinguish, but the cost of reigniting them loomed larger now. The risk of permanent family rupture. Inner turmoil consumed my quiet hours. Had I made the right choice in rejecting her? Society's mixed messages bombarded me. TV shows glamorizing queer love, yet real-life stories of rejection and loss. In our suburb, acceptance was conditional, tied to discretion. Mom's church group prayed for guidance, their subtle interventions a reminder of the moral battlefield. Dad, in rare vulnerability, admitted, "I don't get it, but I love you girls." His words offered a lifeline, but Alina's wariness pulled me back. An explosive confrontation erupted when Brooke confronted Alina at the hospital parking lot after her shift. I wasn't there, but Alina recounted it later, fury in her eyes. She said you two belong together, that I was holding you back. The audacity reignited old wounds. Alina stormed home, accusing me. "Have you been talking to her?" I denied, but guilt flickered. "No, I ended it." Her doubt lingered. "Prove it. Block her." The demand tested my resolve. Complying felt like surrender, but refusing meant more division. The ethical dilemmas multiplied. Was loyalty to family absolute, or did personal happiness deserve a chance? Friends' opinions varied, some supportive, others judgmental. One said, "Blood over romance." Another, "Follow your heart." The confusion paralyzed. At therapy, the counselor urged exploration. Allison, suppressing feelings leads to resentment. But acting on them risked everything. Brooke's persistence peaked with a letter slipped under our door. "I love you. Meet me one last time." The temptation warred with caution. I went, against better judgment, to a quiet cafe. "This has to end," I said. She pleaded. "Give us a shot. We can move away." The fantasy appealed, but reality intruded. Alina's pain, family expectations. "I can't." Her tears turned to anger. "You're weak hiding behind them." The words stung, exposing my fears. Returning home, Alina waited, the letter in hand. "You met her." Betrayal flashed anew. It was to end it. But she didn't believe. "You're choosing her again." The argument drew Mom and Dad. "Enough." Dad yelled. "This is tearing us apart." Mom sobbed. "Why can't we be normal?" Her words highlighted the societal toll. The normal we chased at the expense of authenticity. In the fallout, Alina moved out temporarily, staying with a colleague. The house echoed emptiness. My thoughts darkened. Was I the destroyer? The price of my indecision. Isolation, regret. I sought solace in journaling, pouring out conflicts. Desire versus duty, self versus family. Reconciliation attempts faltered. A family dinner turned disastrous when Mom mentioned finding good men. Alina snapped. "Not everyone wants that." The tension boiled. Dad mediated poorly. "Let's not fight." But the damage deepened. Brooke's final act was a social media post, vague but pointed. "Lost the one I love to fear." Friends speculated, gossip spreading. The public scrutiny amplified shame. At work, co-workers whispered. The social consequences hit hard. Lost invitations strained interactions. Alina returned after a week, guarded. "I miss my sister." We talked late into the night. "I forgive you, but it hurts." Her vulnerability prompted my own. "I'm scared of who I might be." She hugged me. "We'll figure it out together." The moment offered hope, but trust was tentative. The climax came when Brooke appeared at a family event, a cousin's wedding. Uninvited, she caused a scene. "Allison, tell them the truth." Chaos ensued. Alina shoved her. "Leave." Guests stared, judgments forming. Dad escorted Brooke out. The humiliation was the breaking point. In the car ride home, silence reigned. Mom broke it. "This ends now." But how? My decision crystallized. Cut ties with Brooke completely. The sacrifice stung, but necessary. Months later, scars faded slowly. Alina dated again, cautiously. I explored my identity privately, attending support groups. Society's pressures eased slightly with time, but the lessons lingered, the cost of choices, the pain of growth. Healing crept in like dawn after a long night, but the shadows of our ordeal lingered in every family interaction. Alina and I rebuilt our bond through small acts. Coffee runs, late-night talks where we dissected our pains without blame. "I was jealous, Sally," she admitted one evening on the porch. Not just of Brooke, but of you finding something I lost. Her honesty mirrored my own reflections. The journey had forced me to confront my sexuality, accepting the fluidity I'd denied. But the price remained evident. Strained family dinners, where Mom's questions treaded carefully, and Dad's efforts at inclusion felt forced. Society's gaze never fully softened. At work, a promotion came with whispers about my drama. Friends drifted, replaced by those who understood the struggle. Brooke vanished from our lives, her absence a relief laced with what-ifs. In quiet moments, I pondered the moral ambiguities. Was her pursuit love or manipulation? My hesitation strength or cowardice? The answers eluded, but growth emerged from the ashes. A pivotal moment came during Thanksgiving, our first since the chaos. Relatives arrived, oblivious or politely ignoring the undercurrents. Aunt Karen's offhand comment, "So Alina, any nice girls?" sparked tension. Mom interjected smoothly, "We're all just happy together." The shift subtle signaled change. Dad raised a glass. To family through thick and thin. His words, once hollow, now carried weight. My inner peace solidified through therapy, where I unpacked the conflicts. "You chose preservation over passion," the counselor noted. Was it right? I nodded, but doubts lingered. Had I sacrificed too much? The ethical debate raged internally. Individual fulfillment versus collective harmony. Alina's new relationship blossomed with a kind co-worker, Emily. Watching them, envy flickered briefly but joy prevailed. "I'm happy for you," I told her. She smiled. "And you? Ready to date?" I shrugged. "Someday." The freedom to choose, unburdened by secrets, was the true victory. As winter set in, our family found a new rhythm. Mom joined a support group for parents, her views evolving. "I was scared," she confessed. "But love is love." Dad nodded, his acceptance growing. The societal barriers cracked, one conversation at a time. Yet the story's echoes prompted reflection. The betrayals, decisions, damages. All for what? Growth perhaps, but at a steep cost. Was betraying a sibling for personal desire ever justifiable? Or does family loyalty always trump individual happiness? The path to redemption wasn't linear. Setbacks dotted our progress. One evening, a mutual friend mentioned seeing Brooke with someone new. The news stung unexpectedly, stirring jealousy I thought buried. "Good for her," Alina said, but her tone betrayed lingering hurt. We laughed it off, but inside, I questioned if closure was illusionary. The moral quandary resurfaced. Had rejecting her been selfless or fearful? Christmas brought another test. Gifts exchanged, but undercurrents simmered. Dad's present to me, a book on self-discovery, surprised. "Read it," he urged. The gesture, awkward yet sincere, bridged gaps. Mom baked Alina's favorite pie, a silent olive branch. In support groups, I shared our story anonymously, finding solidarity in similar tales. Families torn by revelations, rebuilt through resilience. Society's evolution helped. Local pride events drew larger crowds, normalizing what once divided. Personal awakenings deepened. I volunteered at an LGBTQ center, channeling pain into purpose. There, I met others navigating identity amid family pressures, their stories echoing mine. The work healed, reminding me the fight was worth it. Alina and Emily's relationship strengthened, inviting me to dinners where laughter flowed freely. "You're part of this," Emily said. Inclusion mended wounds. Reflecting on the journey, the costs tallied. Lost love, fractured trust, societal scars. But gains emerged, authenticity, stronger bonds, empathy. As spring arrived, hope bloomed. Our family, once fragile, stood resilient. The drama's lessons etched deep. Choices define us, but forgiveness redeems. Yet the core question persists, inviting debate. Was betraying a sibling for personal desire ever justifiable? Or does family loyalty always trump individual happiness?